Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to your astrological forecast for the week starting from January 27th. And this one, of course, is going to be predominantly focused on the Aquarius New Moon, which is the first new moon of 2025. And that's quite telling. And also, this is happening right after we just had the first conjunction between Sun and Pluto in the sign of Aquarius in our lifetime. And actually, prior to this new moon, Pluto just conjuncted Mercury, not the first time. They already had a conjunction in Aquarius last year, but yeah, a lot of Aquarian energy over there. We will unpack it looking at the chart, and of course before that I will name all the aspects that are happening prior to this. This is going to be released on January 25th. I am pre-recording this because, as many people might be aware, I'm on my vacation for this week when I'm releasing this video, so I am going to schedule it to premiere on January 25th, which apparently is a very auspicious day with all planetary alignments in the sky, but it is a very auspicious day because Mars and Venus are having a trine. So that's in itself, it's a good thing. So that's where I'm going to start with naming of the aspects. However, before I get there, I am going to open this space and invite my guides. So I call in on my higher self, spirit guides, my ancestors, starseed family, and my astrological team, of course, ascended masters, Akashic record keepers, and all the beings of light that wish to be present for this recording in co-creation of these future timelines and whatever it is for our highest good to be presented to us. And thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here. It's 11:11, right on time, perfect confirmations from the spirit. So let's rock and roll. Okay, so as I already mentioned, when I'm going to be publishing this, Saturday the 25th, Venus is making a trine to Mars retrograde in Cancer. This is happening under the influence of Moon, still in the sign of Sagittarius, on the final decan, actually right before this trine, only a few minutes before, Moon is making a square to Venus, and Moon is on, let me count quickly, this is Leo decan, right? Perfect. A challenging Venus that is now going through her own thing, in Pisces over there, just in a new phase conjunction with Saturn. So Venus is redefining, like, oh my God, what everything means, relationships towards me, towards others, like now we are tuning ourselves to this unconditional love. So anyway, Venus trying to Mars, perfect. Sunday the 26th, Moon moves into the sign of Capricorn, and this is a cardinal energy, the energy of self-mastery, Capricorn, creating our own reality, being the conscious creator. Then on the same day, we are having Pallas making an opposition to Mars retrograde. Mercury still in Capricorn at this stage, making a sextile to Neptune, 27 degrees, 49 minutes. And this is preparation for their upcoming conjunction. This is the final sextile. And also on the same day, we have Venus sextile in Uranus retrograde. These both, Mercury to Neptune and Venus to Uranus, these are closing sextiles, which are Aquarian flavor, all about breaking free. Mercury in Capricorn, the old way of perceiving reality, connecting with reality, identifying reality that was based on the old structure of reality that is becoming irrelevant because Pluto is now finished with Capricorn, and Venus being the Pisces as the former ruler of the South Node. This is all about the relational dynamics that we are letting go of, because prior to that, Venus was the ruler of the North Node in Taurus, and this is where Uranus still is. Uranus actually had a conjunction with North Node, I believe, was it 2023, 2022, I don't remember exactly, don't hold me on that, but Uranus had a conjunction, of course, with North Node in the sign of Taurus, when North Node was in the sign of Taurus. However, with regards to Uranus being retrograde in Taurus on the final decan, again, Capricorn, Moon is in Capricorn. This is about us redefining what really matters to us, redefining our relationship towards ourselves, which then immediately is going to change the relationships to the external environment and how the external environment is relating to us. So, okay, so this is how we're going to end the week and begin a new one. Then on at night of Sunday to Monday, depending where you are in the world, for me here in Mexico, it's already on Monday the 27th, Mercury, still in Capricorn, is making a sextile to the North Node in Pisces, therefore trine to the South Node in Virgo. So this is all about adjustments and tapping into this new frequency of channeling the spirits to guide us in co-creation of this new reality that we are, working on over here on planet Earth. On the same day, Ceres is making sextile to Chiron, and on the same day, later on the same day, well, depending where you are in the world, if you are in Europe and further, this is actually for you already Tuesday morning, Mercury will move into the sign of Aquarius, where Mercury will remain until February 14th. That's when Mercury will move into sign of Pisces. However, Mercury will have a retrograde from Aries, just like Venus. So Mercury will re-enter the sign of Pisces again on 29th of February, and then again go back to anyway, Mercury will be retrograde, re-entering the Pisces and then going back to Aries. So anyway, so all that said, Mercury is entering Aquarius on Monday the 27th, and then Mercury is going to remain in the sign of Aquarius until Valentine's Day, which, as I mentioned previously, is interesting because we had the Mars Pluto conjunction, the first one in the sign of Aquarius on Valentine's Day 2024. So Mercury in the sign of Aquarius is obviously going to take our way of thinking into the completely new level. And Mercury is exalted in the sign of Aquarius, isn't it? No, it is. Yeah, it is, right? Because Mercury, it's by traditional astrology exalted in Virgo, yes, and by the modern astrology, Mercury is exalted in Aquarius. Exactly, I remember it correctly. Yes, because it's about breaking the pattern of the thinking. It's kind of like installing a new software, because that's what Mercury really represents, is the software. You know, like if you are a computer, your Mercury is the software, you know, how we operate in. So Mercury going into the sign of Aquarius, we are upgrading the software for sure. Tuesday the 28th, Venus is entering her shadow in Pisces, 24 degrees 38 minutes, because Venus is going to have a retrograde in March. On the Tuesday, the 28th, Moon is moving into sign of Aquarius in preparation for this upcoming new moon, and Sun is square in Vesta. Then on, again, Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, depending where you are in the world. For me here, it's Wednesday morning, Wednesday the 29th, right before the new moon in Aquarius, well, 5 hours before, just under, Mercury is making his second conjunction to Pluto in the sign of Aquarius, 1 degree 58 minutes. The last year's conjunction took place on 5th of February 2024, and that was on 0 degrees and 30 minutes. Interesting, 30, you know, number 3, again, Jupiter expansion. 3, you know, in astrology is the Gemini house, so it's all about making choices to expand, to grow, evolve. In Tarot, 3 is the Empress, which is about birthing new world, right? Birthing new earth. And Mercury is still the ruler of Jupiter, and Jupiter is still retrograde at this point. Okay, moving on the same day, what is this? Pallas is trining Uranus. Then and yeah, of course, Wednesday 29th, this is where we have the new moon, which we're going to dive into in a moment. Thursday the 30th, Uranus, as the ruler of this new moon in Aquarius, is going to station direct. So Uranus is still retrograde, just about, during the time of this new moon in Aquarius. Uranus is stationing direct on Thursday the 30th on 23 degrees and 16 minutes of Taurus, and Uranus has been retrograde since September 1st. So Uranus stationed retrograde right before Pluto re-entered the sign of Capricorn for the final time, and Uranus stationed retrograde on 27 degrees and 15 minutes. So it only gone like what, less than 4 degrees back. Okay, so this is Uranus stationing direct on Thursday, and then on the same day we have Moon moving into the sign of Pisces, and Sun is making a trine to Jupiter, and this is something that's very active, of course, for this new moon. It's being trined by Jupiter retrograde in Gemini, 11 degrees and 19 minutes, and this is evolving the cycle that began between Sun and Jupiter on 18th of May 2024, when they had their last conjunction in Taurus, 28 degrees 18 minutes, and their next conjunction will take place in Cancer on 24th of June 2025, which I believe is alongside with the new moon in Cancer. Actually, that is on 25th, isn't it? 25th of June. I'm pretty sure I said that last time when I recorded in the lunation video. Yeah, so Jupiter and Sun are going to have a conjunction right before the new moon in Cancer, yes. Okay. Where are we? So this is the trine between Sun and Jupiter on Thursday the 30th. Friday, just Moon is doing her things in Pisces, square in Jupiter, and conjuncting Saturn. Then on February the 1st, so we're going to enter into a new month, February 1st, Saturday, Venus is going to make a conjunction to Neptune on 27 degrees 59 minutes, and this is resetting a cycle that began between the two of them on 3rd of April 2024. And that actually, the last time the conjunctive was on 28 minutes. So it's interesting now, it's 27 minutes and 27 degrees and 59 minutes. That's 28 minutes, 28 degrees. So last year they conjunct on 28 degrees. Now they conjunct in 27 and 59 minutes. So 1 minute away from the point of the conjunction that took place last year in April. And right after that, a few hours after, Venus is going to make a conjunction to North Node in Pisces. I believe for the first time, Venus is going to conjunct North Node 2 more times because Venus is now in her shadow and Venus is going to go retrograde. So this is the first conjunction between Venus and the North Node, 28 degrees and 9 minutes. And last time Venus conjuncted North Node was on April 17th, 2024, which was in Aries on 15 degrees, 35 minutes. And on the same day, on Saturday the 1st, Moon will move into the sign of Aries, again, cardinal sign, new cycle is beginning because, yes, after this Aquarius new moon, there is definitely a new stuff that is being seeded, which we will be integrating as we go. And then, of course, we'll see much more illumination of in summer, and the cycle will then reset next year, which will be, in fact, an eclipse. Okay, so these are my notes, with regards to what's going to happen prior to this lunation, and well, prior and post, because of course the actual new moon is in the middle of the week, is on Wednesday. So let's share some screens and let's see the charts. Okay. Sorry for being a bit scattered. I'm still recovering from my cold at the time when I'm recording this. And Sun is on 29 degrees and 59 minutes of Capricorn. So it's just about to move into the sign of Aquarius a few hours from me recording this. So anyway, so as usual, this is where it all began. Well, not all, just this cycle that is resetting now on Wednesday, the 29th of January. So the last new moon in Aquarius took place on February 9th, 2024. This is, of course, local chart to Mexico. I was actually, funnily enough, in Mexico at that time. And you can see at the time we didn't have yet the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. So this was all before that. And of course, we can see that Uranus was squaring the moon. Moon was on 20 degrees 40 minutes. We also had Mars and Venus over here squaring the lunar nodes and squaring the Chiron over there in Aries. And the resolution node was still the south node in the sign of Libra. So this was all about us redefining the way forward, because Capricorn, this is a Virgo decan of Capricorn. So it was about us having to go through the experience of 2024 to learn what it is that needed to be changed, what it is that needed to be adjusted, especially with regards to the south node in Libra, our externalization of our power to the external environment, but not just people, but circumstances, like when we allow that which is going on outside of us, which we don't really have much of a control over, with regards to like what's going on in the world, what's going on with nature, what's going on with anything, like there are things you can control, there are things you can't control, but many of us are getting upset about things we can't control. And and that is giving power to the external, this south node in Libra. So we had to go through this entire year to realize that okay, in order for me to feel more balanced and peaceful in my life, I need to learn to regulate my thought and emotions, because otherwise there's just too much going on out there that has a control over me. And also you can see Mercury and Pluto are in a closing phase conjunction with the Sun and the Moon, which is exactly what's happening this year. This resetting the way we think so we can free ourselves from this sense of alienation from this human experience. Okay, we can see that this Chiron North Node conjunction was just about to take place over there. Okay, so that was last year. So main thing, Uranus was squaring the moon, and at the time, the rule of the North Node and the rule of the South Node were squaring the nodes, and resolution was the South Node in Libra. That since conjuncted Venus, conjuncted Venus. Well, yeah, Venus conjuncted the South Node since one more time, but Venus and Pluto had two conjunctions since, because at this stage they not yet conjuncted. That happened later on the same month. Okay, this was the full moon, which was August 19th. And on the same day, we had the first Jupiter-Saturn square. You can see it here. You can see this chart is much more challenging because it's got many more. This one is kind of like, meh, okay, you know, everything is like a little bit over here. So it's like, okay, let's see how things will unfold. But here we see August 19, 2024, things were quite, you know, tricky over here because we had the Jupiter-Mars conjunction. It was like, okay, it's the rule of the North Node in order to go forward. You know, this is also Libra Decan. We need to balance, you know, the way we think. Again, we need to be able to neutralize, you know, the way we are identifying that's what's going on outside of us, so we don't give it too much power, so it doesn't make us crazy. And also with the Jupiter in Gemini, you always have a choice. You always have a choice how you respond. And yeah, the nodes obviously still, you know, Aries, Libra at this stage, and we can see there is T square and Lilith is here conjunct Venus. Venus is in Virgo, and this is Capricorn decan, I believe, right? This is Capricorn decan 6, this is Virgo degree, and Venus is here conjuncting Lilith. So this is all about her healing our sense of inferiority, but also the guilt and shame. And we have the choice, you know, we can always change these things. And like I said, Jupiter here was making an exact square, you can see a few minutes off, to Saturn, and this is a first quarter square. We just had another one now at Christmas time, and then there will be one more in June, but at that time Jupiter will be already in Cancer, Saturn already in Aries. So this is a first quarter square. You have to take an action. And also Uranus at this time also squaring the moon, and it was exact 27 degrees, exact square between Uranus and the sun and the moon. But now Uranus is in a closing phase, closing square to sun, which is the crisis in consciousness. What are we releasing? Again, this attachment. Where is Venus? Virgo. Yeah, the attachment to the past and sense of the, you know, being in this physical body, we are lacking something and stuff like that, you know, which is all just a story that we can choose to let go of. And what else is going on there? Mercury again closing to sun. They just had a conjunction the day before. You can see sun is on 27 degrees, just passed over Mercury. Mercury retrograde in a sign of Leo, which is all about reevaluating the sense of purpose, our authentic expression, retouching the points that Venus went over in summer 2023 when she had a retrograde there. And now Mars is having retrograde, but didn't get to 26 degrees of Leo. Mars is back in Cancer now. Okay, so then this will be the current chart, which we will look into more depth in a moment. You can see again, we have the Mercury, Pluto behind the sun and the moon, so closing phase. But look at this thing, the kite. So you can see that the summer is much less challenged than the last summer was, which is a lot of people are going to be doing the healing. Also, Saturn and Neptune will be already in Aries by this point, and Uranus, where is Uranus? And Uranus in Gemini, perfect. So we have a lot of new energy. So we are seeding a lot of new energy over here that we will see the manifestation of, or at least some aspects of it already this summer. And here Lilith is on 28 degrees, which is the reset point, 2 and 8, 10, and preparation for 2026. And Venus is in opposition Chiron. So we have like the shadow aspects of ourselves and the wounded healer in opposition with one another. There is a lot of healing, a lot of balancing that's going to be going on between now and the full moon in Aquarius on August 9th, right after the 8-8 Lionsgate portal. And yeah, and here is the reset point next year, 17th of February, 2026, which is right before the exact Saturn-Neptune conjunction. Saturn and Neptune are already conjuncting here, but it's not exact. The exact Saturn-Neptune conjunction will take place on February 20th, 2026, when they back in the sign of Aries to stay. Not going back into Pisces after this, but Uranus is back on this 27 degrees, which is exactly where Uranus was during this full moon, right? 27 degrees, 27 degrees, 27 degrees. What is 27? That's the number 9, which is the year we are at. So there is a lot of work to be done between now and next year. But yeah, this will be an eclipse. So this cycle, which we are entering into right here, right now, on the 29th of January, will be reset by the solar eclipse. Yes, a new moon, solar eclipse in Aquarius. And we have this Mars conjuncted, and Venus will be in Pisces. Okay, so Venus and North Node will have an exact conjunction. Perfect. So it's on the North Node, out of sign, but still it's an eclipse. So these are some very profound times that we are living in, preparing for this next year's reset point, 2026, the Wheel of Fortune year. So okay, so we're going to dive into this chart because obviously we don't want to live in the past and we don't want to too much focus on the future, because you know there are a lot of different timelines that you can choose from to manifest the future that you want, right? Jupiter Jupiter is the one. Yes, exactly. Jupiter is the one trining the moon. There are a lot of different timelines available to you that will influence how you will be experiencing this full moon and the reset point in 2026. You decide. You decide based on how much healing is going to take place this year and how much of the past to be released, the past that is still defining our present and being copy pasted into the future, so recreates the same experience. So okay, so we can see that there is actually well, obviously Jupiter is still squaring Saturn, that's ongoing until summer, and Chiron is squaring Mars, but apart from that, nothing is squaring the moon. The moon is not being squared by Uranus. It's a little bit too far, 14 degrees. I mean, Sun is going to square Uranus exact on the 11th of February, which will be, the full moon in Leo build up. So at this stage, we are kind of clear from this Uranus over here, and we are being trined by Jupiter, which is the great benefit. Like I said, Sun and Jupiter are having the exact trine. What was it? The 30th, right? 30th of yeah, so the day after. Perfect. Okay, so the day after, but anyway, this is a flying trine. So Jupiter at this stage is still retrograde, which is still taking us inwards to reevaluate on things. And Mercury, as the ruler, is in a new phase conjunction with Pluto in the sign of Aquarius, again telling us about going beyond the past, going beyond what we had the opportunity to reevaluate while Jupiter's been retrograde for the past few months. And then we had the free oppositions between Jupiter and Mercury in a mutual reception. We had the opportunity to reevaluate, like, is this really serving me? Is this way of living life really working for me? Doesn't matter what is the truth, doesn't matter what is the story, doesn't matter what the program says, doesn't matter what you were being told and observed until this point in your life. What really matters is this really serving me? Does it make me happy? Is this what I want? Because with the Sun and the Moon, obviously the opposition would be the Leo, the heart-centered consciousness. Sun is the ruler of Leo. This is 9 degrees. Again, 9 degrees. 9 degrees is all about Hermit. This year 9, Hermit year. This is what we are working on. This culmination of the old cycle. What are we culminating? Oh, look at the trine, here to this Lilith, again 3 degrees. Lilith is very busy with these moons, and South Node. They just have a new phase conjunction over here, Lilith and South Node. So this is, again, we balancing the past karma, because Venus is in a new phase conjunction with Saturn in Pisces, Saturn, balancing the past karma, the past stuff of the Piscean age, by embracing all of us, all of who we are, unconditional love, forgiveness, compassion, embracing the totality of who we are, and also understanding, and this is again something that I shared in my practical application of astrology, the most recent one, about, having the understanding that, okay, all these people that we interact with in our life, whether it's in your personal experience or just people on the public stage, they play roles, There are obviously all these agreements that, okay, this person is going to be a president at this time when I'll be going through this, and it's going to trigger the hell out of me or something, and also like with our personal relationships, that this person's going to come and hurt me, betray me, or do whatever to me in order for this old wound to come out for healing, right? There is this Chiron, the Chiron square to Mars. And this is a first quarter square, crisis in action. What do we need to do? We need to connect with our emotions, right? This Cancer, because this is what will help us to let go of the past. We need to heal the past. I mean, this is so seriously, like the spirit is just rolling it, like, okay, we see it in this new energy of the Aquarius, right? Okay, yeah, Mercury, Pluto are still behind the moon, which means that this is a closing phase, because we are still culminating some of the past dynamics, because Saturn, Neptune are still in Pisces at this stage. Neptune is moving into the sign of Aries at the end of March, right after the eclipse in Aries, the final one for this cycle anyway. But Venus, as the former ruler of the South Node, and prior to that former ruler of the North Node, Venus is in a new phase conjunction with Saturn and is in Pisces. Venus is actually, we can see, close into Neptune and the North Node, because the conjunction is happening on February 1st on Saturday. So there are these new beginnings, but at the same time there are still a lot of endings. And why is that? Because there are a lot of emotions that needs to be coming to the surface for us to heal, in order to then see this new moon in Aquarius manifested in summer with this beautiful kite, where we have this Mars Saturn opposition. Mars Saturn and Mars Neptune opposition. Oh my God, perfect! Look at that exact opposition on that day. What the what a gift. What a gift, because this is Libra, of course. And yeah, of course, Mars is in Libra, like no kidding. Yes, because we balance in the past with the future. This Saturn, Neptune at this stage both retrograde, conjunct. Saturn still close into Neptune, because the exact conjunction is in February 2026. So that's when Saturn's going to go ahead and start the new cycle. So there is a lot of balancing that's going on. And also Venus here close into Jupiter, and that's trine in the North Node. Oh gosh, perfect. Yes, so we culminate in all these old stories with regards to the old identities. So that's what's being seeded now. That's what Mars is helping us to figure out. This is what we've been talking about since Mars re-entered Cancer. He's bringing to the surface all these emotions that are attached to these old versions of who we are, or our ancestor lineage, our human experience as a collective, all these things that are unhealed and are recreating this pattern, this human behavior. Again, going to the examples I used in my practical application, when someone you considered friend or something behave in a way that it's very hurtful to you or something, and then we try to make it like, oh, this person is horrible or whatever. And it obviously doesn't excuse the behavior. Like I said, we have to use discernment and, put boundaries where they are needed, because you need to value yourself and protect your own sense of self-worth, right? But these people, that are playing these roles in our life on a soul level, they are just helping us to grow and evolve by embodying these things, like for you, for them, it's working both ways, embodying these characteristics that are part of human collective consciousness at the moment, that are no longer in alignment. They are no longer in alignment with where we're going as a humanity, this age of Aquarius, where everybody is equal, where everybody is able to be expressing themselves from their authentic core essence of who they are, from their heart, and not being judged for it. They don't have to sacrifice, they don't have to compromise their values in order to please someone else, and in order to belong, and in order to survive, because that's how it used to be. Uranus in Taurus, this survival, right? There is also a lot of that, this trine between Mars and Saturn, Venus, and Neptune, and all of these being conjunct with the North Node. I mean, the Saturn exact conjunction with the North Node is when, let me see, I write it down. 21st of April. Very good. That's exactly the date when we had the Jupiter Uranus conjunction in 2024. So we have all these reactivations of very prominent days that took place on during the last year, in the year number 8, the strength year. This is what was helping us to build up the stamina to face all of these things. So again, going with this trine, because for me, it's like, oh, this is perfect. We have a new moon in Aquarius, excellent. It's trine by Jupiter, there is nothing much else going on here. Yes, we have this out of sign sextile, because between North Node and Pluto, right? Because yes, Pluto made a sextile to the North Node and trine to the South Node, right alongside with the new moon in Capricorn on 30th of December, right? 30th, 31st, depending where you are in the world. But anyway, so this is you can see, this is all just somewhere there in a corner, it's like, oh yeah, we see it in this Aquarius age, yes, 9, we are birthing it from the past, from where we are at the moment, by culminating the past, we are already creating the future. Very good. We are letting go of the old program, the old software, because it's not serving us anymore, because Mercury is exalted and it's in a new phase conjunction with Pluto, saying that, okay, in order for us to be able to operate in this Aquarian age very efficiently and in a way that's how you say, congruency and coherency with our heart, right? Heart brain coherence. We have to upgrade the software, so this is like, yeah, and trying by Jupiter is being ruled by Mercury, like, yeah, I agree, Jupiter over here, it's like, yes, that's why I'm bringing up all of these stories for you to look at. This is no longer in alignment. These stories are limiting. Why should you be limiting yourself? Why should you be looking up to someone else? Why should you be asking someone else how you should live your life? No matter who that person is, they don't know how you feel, that they don't know how you experience in reality, only and this is all trying in this south node Lilith over here, which is like, yeah, like all these shadows are coming out for healing, because this is our anchor point, like we've been around for many times before, so now it's all coming up for resolution, so we can be just done with, and we don't have to keep recreating the same patterns, right? So this is pretty clear over here. So it's really just this stuff that's going on over here in Pisces that is now pulling my attention to talk about, which is about, well, what are we releasing? What is it? Because it's this opposition, of course. Lilith here is opposing, all of these guys out of sign. Lilith, Libra, balancing, neutralizing. What are we balancing and neutralizing? Well, the Pisces age. Why? Well, because in order for us to move into this new direction, Mars, this new direction, how Pluto acts consciously, Mars is retrograde until end of February, so we're going to have a few more lunations with Mars retrograde. In order to do that, we really need to understand our emotions, because emotions are messengers. So we really need to understand how our body, this Uranus in Taurus, connecting us to our senses and the physical experience, right? And our needs and values and stuff like that. How these things actually operate over there, like this Mars and Uranus, they have a sextile over here. I mean, they already had the exact sextile, but they're going to have one more. This is free sextiles. We have free sextiles between Mars and Uranus. So don't worry, this is going to be touched upon again. This is not something that we're done with yet. This Mars and Uranus sextile, this is a Taurus flavor. We're creating a new foundation over here. This is not going to be happening overnight, because we need to learn how to work with our thoughts and emotions. I keep repeating myself as a parrot, but this is the most important things, because without that we won't be able to master our life, because we will be still our brain will be running the show by and this is me too. I was being told by spirit very clearly that you need to learn to train your mind. Come on. And yeah, the mind and the emotions, they're connected, because like the body responds, right? Everything is connected. How you think, how you feel, how your body, your physical body responds, like, which is what I was again talking about in my practical application, the most recent one, why I got sick, right? Why I got my cold, because the things were not in alignment. And this is how illness happens, when we not in alignment, when we think in thoughts that are not in alignment with our higher self and our soul and our sense of purpose and destiny, and then we feel in emotions that are attached to those thoughts, and they make us feel awful, like, oh my god, I'm so stressed, I'm so angry, I'm so frustrated, I'm so whatever, having all these like emotional states. And the body goes like, well, I can't take this for much longer, that's it, I'm shutting down. So you have to take care of yourself. Cancer, right? So all of this Mars in Cancer is bringing up all of these emotions to make us really focus on ourselves, our self-care, self-nurture, and go like, okay, well, this is a priority over here, this is a priority over here, because we're letting go of a lot of stuff. There is a lot of purge going on. So yeah, don't mind this new moon. New moon is new moon, it's seeding a new energy. We're going ahead, like it or not. Pluto is in Aquarius, Mercury is in Aquarius. We're going ahead, we're creating a new software, we're creating a new direction, new program. Jupiter is supporting this. Jupiter expands everything it touches. It's trining the sun. Excellent. This is all blessed. This is beautiful. In the sense, there is a kite, right? There is a kite here. So this is all beautiful. This is all divinely orchestrated. It's all great. But what is happening at the same time is this opposition. Like, okay, but there is a lot of neutralizing of the old stuff that needs to take place. Why? Because the South Node is in Virgo and Mercury is in Aquarius. So, it's time to upgrade, over here on this planet Earth, the Virgo, the embodiment of the spirit, and also Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus, the ground Earth trine, the embodiment of spirit, having the human experience, getting to know yourself, know thyself, the Taurus, to create a strong foundation, learn as you go, because, we always growing and evolving. You're never done. You're never perfect. You never achieve everything you came here to achieve. There is always more, because the evolution keeps going, right? And Capricorn, just learn to master the experience you're having right here, right now, because everything is serving, the Pisces. Saturn in Pisces. And like I said, Venus now in a new phase conjunction. Venus here is doing her own thing. She's like, I'm being reborn over here. Come on. She's going to conjunct everybody 3 times over there because she's going into Aries, and then she's going back into Pisces. She's going to be quite busy over there. She's going to conjunct my Venus 3 times and my Mercury. So, okay, Venus is busy in my life too. So anyway, so Venus is important because Venus is our relationships, and everything is relational. Everybody has a relationship with everything, whether it's your money, whether it's your husband, whether it's your sister, whether it's your food, whether it's your clothes, whether it's your phone. Everything is relationships. This is how we learn Libra, the relating. This is how you know thyself, the Aries, you as a fool, me as a fool, all of us, we just came here to have an adventure, have an experience, right? This Chiron over here in Aries on Leo Deacon, and this Chiron is just hanging on for dear life on this 19 degrees, the eclipse degree from last year, just hanging on there because it's like, you really need to feel it. You really need to feel it. This Mars is in Cancer. You really need to feel it. We just have to go through this, and I tell you what Spirit told me. It doesn't have to be hard because I'm like, oh my God, and obviously Pluto square Pluto coming up over here. And the Spirit is like, don't worry, you just have to show up and just go through it, do whatever you need to do, cry, whatever, just connect with your emotion and just follow your flow, follow your flow and just go with it, all this water. I mean, yes, there's an Aquarius new moon indeed, but the ruler is in Taurus retrograde on Capricorn decan of what is this Aquarius degree, like we have all these like earth and water. So Jupiter is supporting everything, but where is Jupiter? This is Libra. Yeah, but Venus, Libra degree, also 11 degrees, perfect. Justice, right? In a tarot, justice. So, and where is Venus? Well, Venus is in Pisces. Why the hell she's talking about Venus and Jupiter? Venus is no longer connected to Jupiter, but Jupiter is on Libra decan of Gemini. So we look at Venus as well, like, okay, what is Venus doing? Well, Venus is busy over there conjuncting everyone and getting ready to conjunct Neptune and North Node to have a little reset over there because she's just gone through 3 years of rulership over these nodes. She's like, man, just give me a break over here, So she's resetting. She's just passing on the info, Saturn as the conscious creator, as the structure of reality. Saturn, no, now you need to embody it, like we're no longer in Pisces age. You can't blame someone else. And this Neptune over here, Neptune is everything, is the source, it's all there is. And so Neptune passing on info over here 3 times because, like I said, she's going to retrograde and move back into Pisces. She's conjuncting everybody 3 times. And and Venus is like, by the time she's free of all this back and forth and back in Aries, and we will have the full moon in Libra at the in the middle of April, which is, I believe, when Venus is stationing. That's it, that's it, because then after eclipses, then Mars is also going to be coming back into Leo, and then eventually out of his shadow in May, I believe. And then we are on to the next story, full moon in Sag, new moon in full moon in Sag, and and there is Saturn entering the sign of Aries at the end of May. So that's what I mean, May is a different paradigm. This is a different timeline altogether, So what we're going through right now is this back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Yeah, future is guaranteed. Don't worry, we going, ready or not, we going. There is no question about that. Uranus is still retrograde as the ruler of this new moon. Saturn as the traditional ruler is in Pisces. So Saturn is like, don't look at me, I'm here on the Cancer decan. Look at Mars. Mars is retrograde too. Oh my God, who do we look at then? Well, look at the moon. Moon is in Aquarius. Moon is in Aquarius on 9 degrees. So Moon is saying like, oh yeah, there is a big reset going on. Reset of what? Well, there is a lot of healing. We're looking at all this shadow of humanity. This Libra, everything that's outside of us is triggering the hell out of us. That is making us feel emotional, and all this flooding of emotion is coming up. And the Chiron as the key between Saturn and Uranus, both of the rulers of this Aquarius new moon, this is just reactivating the eclipse degree. So saying like, well, people, it's time. Humanity is moving forward, and you are going to be the creator, because 19 degrees, the card of the sun in a tarot. So that's all perfect. And I mean, yeah, we enter into Aquarius season today when I'm recording this on the 19th. Is a day of the sun, Sunday, and is the card of the sun in a tarot. 19, perfect. So everything is just in alignment. Everything is in alignment. There are no really squares, any squares to the moon. There's just the trines, and the only squares are this Mars, that is just prying the wounds up, like, oh, let me just get more of these emotions stirred up, so we can go through as much as we can, because the healing will never be 100% done, I don't believe. Maybe, in future timelines, but right here, right now, I don't know if there is anybody in this world that can say, oh yeah, I'm fully healed. I have no more trauma, no more. I don't know, maybe there is someone, but definitely it's not me. So this Mars, like, let's just dig out as much as we can, because we're going in this new direction. We want as little of that to come with us, because that needs to be transmuted, the energy, obviously. So that is that square, and obviously the Saturn Jupiter, the story. You are choosing the story of your life, and it all sounds very, airy fairy, very good, but how the hell do I do it, right? You have to look at your individuation process, which is this Mercury in a sign of Aquarius, and in opposition, the polarity point to Pluto, Leo. Ask your heart, don't ask someone else, because Venus is in Pisces. No, speak to source, with this Mars being in a sign of Cancer. Connect with your emotions. So maybe we can just go in a cycle over here. But I mean, this chart is very simple. I mean, in a sense, it's very simple. It's just saying, yeah, future is guaranteed. We're going ahead. For that, we need to install a new software. We need to perceive reality very differently, because the old way is not working. Like that just didn't give us much of a choice. It said good, bad, that's it. There was nothing else in between. It's like, well, depends who you ask and how you look at the situation, and whether you know the background of the story. There are a lot of nuances to that. So in the Jupiter is like, well, you choose your story. Why do you ask someone else to choose your story? You choose your story. Yeah, but guess what? For that, we need to heal all that wounding and trauma that is saying that, oh no, this is the only way. This is the only way it can be. The Saturn in Pisces, I had the evidence. South Node in Virgo, I have the evidence. Let me show you. Let me show you why the world is going to shit. I have all the evidence. Let's look at the news together. And the Jupiter will just go, it's your choice. I'm here on the Libra Deacon on 11 degrees of the Justice card. You decide, if this is the justice for you, that you want to be looking at this just through this one perspective, because you don't really know. You don't really know the contract. Again, justice in tarot. It's also the legal matters. You don't know the contract of the other person. I don't know the contract of the other. It's easy to look at situation and judge it and say, this is bad, this shouldn't be happening, whether it's with regards to, people struggling or natural disaster. And yeah, on a human level, in an easy way of identifying situations, we say, yeah, this shouldn't be happening. There shouldn't be suffering on this planet no more. But because of what humanity is going through, and because of the South Node in Virgo, North Node in Pisces, and Saturn, Neptune resetting, and Venus as the former ruler of the South Node and prior to the North Node, so past 3 years of cycles we're talking about, which obviously then goes into bigger cycles, but for simplicity matter, we're talking about cycles that began in January 2022, right? Because that's when Venus became the ruler of the North Node in Taurus. So with all of this that's going on, we don't really know. We cannot 100% judge that this shouldn't be happening because I don't like it. I don't like this experience. And obviously, if people are affected by experience, they say, well, go and screw yourself. You're lucky there, not having this experience. But on a soul level, nobody experiencing something that they didn't sign up for. So this is a horrible truth to digest, this Mars in Cancer. But that's the only way we can feel empowered, because if I will always think that things are happening to me and poor me, and this shouldn't be happening in my life, and obviously we have to go through the emotions that are coming to the surface while we having that experience, whatever that is. But to just say that well, this absolutely should not be happening, because there shouldn't be this amount of suffering in the world. Well, how do I know? I'm not saying there should be, I'm not saying it's good, but what do I know that the soul sign up for to grow through, or that what humanity as a collective need to go through these awful challenging things in order for the hearts to break open, for this entire way of living on this planet will change. How people see each other, how they treat each other, how they how they stop dividing from each other. Because of what? Because of political opinions. Who gives a whatever. I mean, this is just a story. Like seriously, like people are fighting and killing each other, and families are divided because of different political opinions. Like, are we for real? Like seriously? Because like Jupiter, Gemini, Sagittarius, this is unmutable energy. You go to speak to someone in Tibet, they don't care, they probably don't care, they have a completely different priority. Taurus, values, different foundation. So that's what I mean. So going into wars, going into conflict because of what? Stories, belief systems, like values. But everybody has a right to their own, as long as they're not projecting it onto someone else and forcing someone else to then sacrifice day to suit, somebody's agenda or something. So that's what I mean. But it all starts from creating the foundation that is strong within us, that would say, no, this is my boundary. This is my authentic expression. I don't need to believe what other people believe, but also I shouldn't judge other people for believe something I don't believe. Like it's a unlimited universe, right? So this is the world we co-creating. So again, all these things, very, very, very challenging things that are going on this planet and will continue to go on. I mean, North Node is in Pisces until summer 2026. A lot of flooding, a lot of past is coming up. Why? Because all this Mars is in Cancer. Like I said, Mars is trying to dig out as much as he can, because it's like, no, we need to eradicate and purify. Mars, obviously the rule of air is fire, and Chiron being in Aries, ruled by Mars. We need to purify with the fire and the water, all of these old energies that are not serving us no more, because otherwise how will we get off the hamster wheel and look beyond the pattern? Mercury in Aquarius, Jupiter in Gemini, look beyond the old story, the old program, the old pattern. But this is how it is. But let me tell you, this is what happened. This is what they did to my ancestors. So we are enemies forever, and my children and their children will be enemies forever too. Why? Because of something that happened 2,000 years ago? We don't know what was the contract of these people back then, the souls that were alive at the time, living in a completely different world with a completely different level of consciousness, and all the atrocities that happened, in the past 2,000 years had to take place for us to become who we are and create this emotional intelligence that we have now, that we didn't possess 500 years ago. All these things had to take place. It's a natural evolution. So that's why right now experiencing all these things, they don't feel good. Of course they don't, because they are archaic. There are awakened emotions like guilt, shame, jealousy, competitiveness in a, the negative way, the superior way. Like, well, if I'm not the number one, then obviously, I suck, or, I need to be the number one to prove my value, or, or whatever, or there is just one number one in the world, and that's to be me, or something like that, whatever. So anyway, all of these are archaic things. Capricorn, hierarchical, right? Aquarius is, let's just look at the symbol of Aquarius, right? Two parallel lines. Well, nobody is above anybody else over here, is there? But I mean, again, this is something we're going to be evolving for the next 2,000 years. So let's not get ahead of ourselves. We have no clue what it's going to look like 2,000 years from now, even 1 year from now, by the time we have the solar eclipse in Aquarius, the first one out of sign, because next year is going to be wild. we have eclipses in every single element. There will be Aquarius, Virgo, and then the other side of the year we'll have Leo and Pisces. So I'm like, you can't make it up. It's just gonna be a wild ride, because even the astrology is breaking the pattern. It's saying, like, don't allow the astrology to become your prisoner either. Astrology is not there to give you a death sentence, to say, like, oh, this is what's going on, that's it, I'm doomed. My natal chart, I'm doomed. My progress chart, I'm doomed. My solar return, oh my God, what a year is gonna be. You decide, because every single thing here, all the symbols, all the planets, all the signs, everything has a million way you can identify it. Like if we have 12 archetypes that cover everything in the universe, I mean, come on. There is a lot of stuff under that one umbrella. A lot of it is hiding over there. So yeah, so what we really focus on is this, and the key, because the key is connected to both rulers of this moon, Saturn and Uranus. Chiron is, the key between Saturn and Uranus, the past and the future. The past, oh yeah, the totality of understanding of Pisces age, with the Cancer decan, and this is what Leo degree perfect. Yeah, what are we creating? We are creating a world where we actually are emotionally intelligent and no longer get triggered over anything, and where the story comes up, the story that the ego gets flared up because we need to be always right. In order to survive, we need to be right. So let me just prove how wrong you are. Not that I even care about the subject, but I just need to be right. Yes. So that is the that is the low vibration of Mercury in Aquarius. Let's just create this, sense of alienation because I have to be right. And yeah, then or somebody else is right, and then I feel traumatized because my ego is unseen, and then I feel like, oh my God, nobody understands me over here. This Leo, I don't feel seen, because I need to see and validate myself, and I need to stand in my power. This Taurus, Uranus in Taurus, my foundation, like love myself unconditionally. Lilith, in Libra, 3 degrees perfect, Empress, again, birthing new earth, birthing new relationships. How? We are facing the shadows of these ones and the relational dynamics that we have at the moment. And why we have them? Well, because of all the suffering that took place during the Pisces age, because of the South Node in Virgo. This is your anchor point. But learn from the past. Don't allow it to define you. It's not necessary. The trine between Pluto and the South Node. You're not your past. Also, the trine between the South Node and Uranus. You are not your past. You're here to break free from the past. Every next generation comes here to break free from the past. To create a future, not to be stuck in the past and recreate the same pattern, which you can see. There is always some kind of dynamic in every family, like, I don't know, come from a family of alcoholics, come from a family where there is a money issue or something. And then we just, the parents had the same problem, and then we just keep recreating the same patterns. Or like, I don't know, like, for example, my family, obesity. Well, sorry, girl, it's in your genes. You just gotta be fat, you like it or not. And I'm like, are you kidding? Unless somebody's force feeding me, I think I have quite a lot of control over, over that. So anyway, so that's what I mean. These are all stories that we have the opportunity to change, because you didn't come here to recreate the past. You come here to take it to the next level, and for that we need the fresh software, the update, like your Windows update. I don't know about Apple, obviously never had Apple, but like you always need to update your applications on your phone. We always have to update, and it gets bloody annoying. It gets frustrating, like, why my computer wants to update for 10 minutes? I need it now. Because there is a time and place for everything, right? And we need this new program in order to operate in an Aquarian age more sufficiently and effectively. So that's why the healing is taking place. While the program is being upgraded, the body is being upgraded. So we just, just deal with the emotions, deal with your thoughts, just balance it as much as you can. This Mars is going to dig out as much as he can before the end of February. More emotions, more is coming up. Mars is going to make one more trine to this North Node, while still in a sign of Cancer in April. Yeah, that's what I mean, between now and, I said March, but really April, because that's when Venus stations direct. There is a lot of stuff that's coming up that's connected to the past. But then from May, we're going ahead. That's it, and from July, we are already in 2026 energetically. Uranus will be already in a sign of Aquarius, right? No, Aquarius, Gemini. That's the, Then new moon, full moon. Where am I? Not this one, this one, this one. No. Oh my God, where is the chart? The chart disappeared. Ah, what's happening with my screen? What's happening? Oh my gosh. I think I just completely like just this is a Mercury non-retrograde moment. Okay, where is the chart? I can't find the chart. Where did I put it? February. Why do I have two Februaries? What? Okay, here is the chart. Oh yeah, because there is the eclipse and not, like because the eclipse is actually not at the same time as the new moon. It's like 13 minutes after. Okay, now I understand. You see, this is where you have called. My brain is still not fully functional, but it's fine because yeah, during the full moon in Aquarius, the opposition point, which is in summer, 9th of August, this is already the frequency of 2026 over here, with this conjunction, opposition to Mars, perfect. Uranus over here, Uranus is making a trine. Yeah, Uranus is making a trine to Pluto. This is excellent. I mean, the exact trine is happening in 2026, I believe, right? Yeah, this is great. It's all great, So we just need to get through these first 4 5 months of this year, not get through it like, oh my God, just shoot me now and, wake me up when it's over. No, it's just like this needs to take place, all this purging, healing, clearing, us facing the shadows of our own psyche, shadows of humanity. And it sounds much easier than obviously, then it is done, but it has to be done. There is no other way. It's for everyone, for me, myself included. I have to go through my own shit to get to where I want to go because I need to face all the programs and emotions attached to these programs that are resurfacing when these programs are getting triggered. And my ego gets flared up and says, oh, but I need to be right and I need to protect myself. So let's just go back to the past behavior, past versions of ourselves, Mars in Cancer. It's not available anymore. Sorry. This moon is in Aquarius, 9 degrees. That is all ending this year. I'm afraid the year 9, it's all ending, because next year we have an eclipse over here, new moon in Aquarius with Venus in the new phase. The Venus that is now being reborn. This is like, no, we're going to start operating from the heart-centered consciousness of unconditional love. Number 8. Yeah, the strength card. 0 degrees, anaretic degrees, perfect. This moon is technically almost on anaretic degrees, 28 reset point, which is, the next year, 2026. So it's just great. So that's all I'm going to say. I really don't have nothing else to say. I'm going to pull some cards, but I'm going to do that on my phone. So I'm going to stop this recording. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say about this moon, to be honest, because to me, it's just like, like really like I don't look at astrology in separation very much anymore. It is the story that's unfolding for humanity. And however this is showing up in your personal life is unique to you, but the story, these like fibers that are being weaved together, like a new tapestry is being woven together for the humanity, and everybody has a role to play through them working on their own patchwork. So like we all are supposed to focus on our own life, focus on our own reality that is going to help us then to transmute the energies of the past, and then we all come together like, okay, I have this upgraded version, okay, let's put it all together, and now we have an upgraded version of reality that is not going to be a copy paste of the past, because it's very different, because we already transmuted the past energies. So yeah, so even though this is a new moon in Aquarius, my main focus is here. Yeah, here. This is a seeding of the future, but the future is not yet manifest because it's a new moon. And the new moon is saying there is a lot that needs to end first for the balance to take place. 5 and 1, 6. Because 11 degrees, Libra Deacon, 11 degrees Justice in a tarot. There are a lot of contracts that needs to finish, right? And the program, obviously, the software needs to be upgraded. We need to unplug from the mass consciousness. But this is the main focus this year. The year of Hermit. So yeah, that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to leave it with that, because everything is just a story anyway. What matters the most is how this lands for you. How does it make you feel? What are you experiencing in your life? How are you observing the patterns that are resurfacing in your own life that you are identifying is something that you outgrown, And the way you know that is because it doesn't feel good. It no longer feels good. It no longer feels motivating. It maybe makes you feel dead inside. Like, this is not the life that I want to continue having. Like, no thanks. Something has to change. So yeah, this is saying that change is guaranteed. Next year, 1 year from now, you're not going to be the same person you today. That is a guarantee. That is a promise of Jupiter in Gemini. You are expanding. What you're expanding into, that's your choice. Depending on how you're willing to let go of the old program, Mercury in Aquarius. But it's close into the sun and the moon, like we need to commit and we need to let it go. We need to release it. It's a choice, right? It's a choice. But the fact that you're not going to be the same person next year, at least internally, that's a guarantee. But everything depends on this. How much we are willing to face the things that are flooding into our consciousness, they surfacing through these emotional states and the monkey mind. Are we going to check out and distract ourselves and use substances so I don't have to deal with it? It's just too much. Or are we going to do something about it so we can bridge the gap between where you are now, and where you want to go? So yeah, that's it. That's the closing message. Okay, guys, so I'm going to leave it at that, and I'm going to now move on to the cards and see what further messages we get from the spirit there. So I hope that this offered some value, perhaps some clarity. This is just my take on it. I'm sure if you listen to 5 astrologers, everybody going to tell you a different story. But yeah, it's all good because every single story is valid. It just depends which aspect of you it touches, what resonates, so connect with your emotions and discern for yourself, because astrology is not ruling your life. It is just giving you a tool through which you can navigate and understand yourself and your journey better. Okay, wishing everybody a wonderful Aquarius new moon, the first new moon of 2025, and I'll speak to you either in the next video or in the card pool. Okay, much love everyone, and bye for now.